Good day, everybody. Good day. This is your man Shannon coming at you again with another segment of the You're So Witty broadcast. Hopefully, everything's going good in your world, and if not, keep praying, keep believing. I'm sure everything will turn around. Today, I have a great show for you today. We want to come to you and bring something that you can use with all the bad things that's going on in the world. We try to bring good, positive information and good, positive messages. I have a message for you today, and we're going to be talking about the influential part that women play as they're in power in different positions. I have a distinguished guest that I've been trying to get on for a while, and finally we were able to get our schedules together, and she was able to come on and help us out. So that person is no other than Mrs. Sirrenthia Williams. Miss Sirrenthia Williams, how are you today?
I'm great, Shannon. How are you?
Doing excellent, doing excellent. I wanted to bring you on today because I wanted to talk about this subject, the subject of, women in key positions and having influence and all these things. And also what it takes to even get in a position like that. How do you move up? How do you deal with all different demographics and all these different things? In this society, I think it's good for especially our younger people to see this such thing. So before we get started, though, on that, I just want you to tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi. I've been in Georgia now for 2.5 years. Moved here continue to pursue my career with the company that I work for currently, which is Home Depot. I am a wife, a mom, and a grandmother before I'm anything else. But I absolutely enjoy being a career woman. I previously worked for a company called Aaron Sales and Lease before going into Home Depot. But I've been with the company 13 years now. This is my fourth store in second state in those 13 years.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. And the fact that you said you're a grandmother, I think anybody viewing wouldn't think you a grandmother. So that's awesome. God has been good. So that's the thing. I've also heard you say you were a wife. So you already wear other hats other than just being in leadership at the current position at Home Depot. So that's good.
Absolutely. I love the wife hat that I wear is amazing for me. So often people feel like because I am in a career that I'm in that I don't possibly have time to be the wife that I need to be, but I absolutely have managed to balance that out quite nicely.
That's good. That's good. Seeing that you were in a leadership role in, I think you said a rental store, and then you moved over here to where you are now, and you're still in leadership. Is that just a leadership gene that you have, or did they see something in you?
Well, I will tell you, some of it is DNA. My mother is the wind beneath my wings, if you will, because has always been, though she hadn't been in leadership roles in the worldly environment, as you would say, in workforces, she's always been in a leadership role as being a mom and balanced me out, taking care of us as kids, even being a single parent. So I can just tell you some of it is DNA and a lot of it is hard work and the ability to want to be successful to not only for myself but for my children and my family. So.
Good deal. Good deal. Question I wanted to roll into is how did you get started in the career at the that you're in? Just overall, how did you get? Is this the first place that stuck out to you to go, Home Depot, or did you just need a job working 40 hours?
So I started off with Home Depot at 40 hours. The reasoning being is because I had to leave my other career of being a salary leader because again my role as a mom came first. I was a single mom. And my daughter wanted me to be home at a reasonable time, which was not too much for her to ask because as a single mother, I was already taking away from them a lot of time. And so when she asked me, "Hey, Mom, can you please do this?" It wasn't a second thought. I had to get online and pursue another career that would allow me to just do 40 hours and go home. But once you're a leader, you're always a leader. It's just embedded in you. So interviewing for this position, going into, they see my background and like, "Hey, what are you doing?" So I was like, "Hey, I'm a mom. I need to just do 40 hours. And I need to do that, for 2 years. Can you handle that? And then I can look at going into something different. But for 2 years, I need to be dedicated to my child. So.
Right. With the bona fide skills that you had, though, was it in your mind, okay, once these 2 years are up, I'm going to show y'all what I really can do, or just work hard and let them just, elevate you as needed?
Well, I can tell you, I absolutely worked hard. It's in me. That's been put in me and instilled in me from my grandmother, my mother. So that hard work is there because, again, good things don't come to those who wait. It comes to those who work. And with that, they were getting a store manager quality of leader in an hourly position. So it was a win-win for them, period. But the skill set that I had and the things that they taught me, I was winning as well. They were allowing me the opportunity for growth and development, if you will, because this company has a long runway. So definitely being in an hourly role was a little challenging for me because I come from, not punching a clock for at least 8 years, to having to come in and remember that I was there as a 40-hour associate, even though I was in a small leadership role, but it was an hourly role. But definitely has a lot of great people pouring to me to get me to my next step, and then my next step.
What are you calling it? An hourly role? Or hourly role? What is it?
Hourly, like you put
hourly role.
Hourly role.
Okay, I got you. Oh yeah, so they were. Yeah, you're right. They had a MVP on the bench, and you were just letting them use you as needed, but you were still. Yeah, oh yeah, they were winning all day. Yeah, all day.
It was a win-win.
Yeah, definitely. I got you. Well, in this field, I'm just assuming, you straighten me if I'm wrong, I would assume it is a male-dominated field. If my assumptions are right, was it like being a woman in that male-dominated world?
Well, I can tell you, when I look at my field and what I do, I don't per se just always focus on the male aspect of it. It is a home improvement store, a company, if you will. And yes, it's deemed to be more a male environment. But I can tell you, some of our high level leaders with our company are female. Actually, the legal counsel for us, she's a female, and she's actually a very highly thought of female. So coming into this, I don't actually look at it as I'm in a male dominated field. I look at it as that I'm a woman who can bring a uniqueness, if you will, to the table to balance out, because everybody needs a balance. You can't do, how do I want to put this? And you're going to laugh at this. It's like, it's a man's world, but it would be nothing without a woman or a girl.
Okay.
I truly bring my own chair to the table, Shan.
Right. That's good. That being the case, is there ever a time, though, that you're talking to someone, you being in that leadership role, you can sense that because you're female telling them something, and there may be a man that, yeah, okay, you can see or feel, or has there ever been a time that you feel like, okay, you looking at me because you think I don't know what I'm doing or something like that? Has there been a time that happened?
It's funny that you asked that. I can remember a part of my career where a customer, he specifically asked for a man. He said, I need to talk to a man. Well, my job is to always make sure I'm taking care of the customer. And I'm not so put off, or because somebody feel like they want a man, that, hey, hold 1 second, let me take care of that for you. In doing so and getting that male leader allowed that customer to ask them the question. Well, that male leader didn't know the answer to that question. I did. So he turned and he looked at me and he proceeded to allow me to speak and explain to the customer, what he or she was looking for. And I run into it not so much, but it has happened over my career.
It's even funny you said that, because I was just telling somebody I saw an episode of a sitcom that I was watching, and the person didn't want to deal with the first person. They go get another person who had to go back and get the first person. And it was a dental situation, a dentist. And the guy said, okay, now you really need to open your mouth so you can get your foot out of it. So I definitely, that's funny that you even brought that up, because I was just talking to somebody about that yesterday. I guess we just sometimes think we know what we want, and sometimes we really don't know what we need.
But the good part about it is I don't let it bother me. It's
Oh yeah.
not, I can hold my own, and I don't let the fact that people may feel because I wake up knowing two things in the morning. The first thing I wake up knowing is that I'm a woman. The second thing I wake up knowing is that I'm a black woman. So I realize that, I own that, and I embrace that. So when people come in, and they may feel some type of way about certain things, I don't allow that to change my mindset or the way I move every day. I wake up knowing exactly who I am.
Mhm. Well, carrying such a banner like you do, how should, if you find yourself in a position, you got a young lady, older lady, whoever, how should a woman handle influence and power? Because regardless, you're holding up two banners, leadership and womanhood as well, to show that we can do certain things, that you guys can do certain things. How, how would you say they should handle that influence? When
So
getting
first
that
of
power?
all, when you're talking about influence and power, that's two different definitions.
Exactly.
Power is the capacity to get others to act based on authority, if you will,
Hmm.
versus influence is the ability to just modify how a person behaves or think based on persuasion,
Hmm.
often leading with respect, if you will. So I don't so much lean into the power part of it
Hmm.
as I do the influence part, because power never has to come into play when you can influence people to do things and move a certain way. What they're looking for is, are you genuine? Are you asking for the right reason, or are you asking just to benefit self? So I can tell you, I'm a servant leader. It's not about me. Everything I do is about someone else. So when you're talking about influence and you're a woman who have to handle influence and power, the first time you forget how to humble yourself down and understand that you need the people more than they actually really need you. You have to remember that, because when you get out of that mindset, you've already lost any influence or any power you may think you have. I would tell people to always be true to themselves. My integrity is really key to me. So when I'm up and I'm moving, I'm the same me that you watched throughout coming into the location and decided you want to speak to, as I am with anyone else. You got to really, I said, see the authentic. That's me.
Right. Right.
And I had no idea at that point you were watching. And I tell people, you don't ever know who's watching.
That's right.
So who you are is who you are. You have to get up and definitely be the best version of yourself every day.
I tell you what made me really want to interview, the fact that I saw that there was a lady managing the store now, which is you yourself, but I watched the people more so and how they responded, as well as one day I think I was coming through your location, something that you could have easily had somebody else do. You were doing that was the key right there. I think that was the day that I said, yeah, I like to talk to her about leadership, because you were fixing something. I was like a billboard or something, whatever. And I thought, man, she could have somebody else doing that, but you were actually doing it. And that's I think the first time that I talked to you about all of this, and the people
And
respond to you great.
I can tell you, because I know how I got there. So because I'm there, that means, and you're right, I can direct anybody to do anything. But part of that influence and part of that inspiration is to get to know your associates in a way that they want to do the things for you based on your inspiring them, versus you have the title, so to speak. I don't care about the title. The only reason why the title is presented on our aprons, if you will, is to let the customers know who we are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I wake up and put on my clothes just like everybody else. And I come to work to put in an honest heart they work, but also to be able to be allowed to coach, teach, and develop people. In order to do that, I have to be genuine. I have to let them know, hey, I did this job. So come on, I can mix that paint. Let's mix paint together. Let's play in the color. Let's go out and pick out flowers together. I absolutely love what I do. And I think probably the teaching part is what I love the most. I can touch 150 plus lives along with 3,000 customers a day. So that's amazing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I even teach them. Shannon, I opened myself up to when I was a knucklehead and jacked my credit up.
You was a
And I had
knucklehead?
to.
Don't believe that. Don't believe that.
Everybody was a knucklehead in their young ages, and they
Okay.
went to college, and
Right.
the people sent you credit card apps, and you filled them out, and you got all those credit cards. So I talked to them about having bad credit to having to clean my credit up, being a divorcee, having 3 kids, being a single mom. I use my story
Right.
to influence, if you will, those to let them know, hey, the Sirrenthia you see today, there's a story behind my praise. I want you to understand how I got here. I didn't just fall into the chair, I didn't fall into the role, I didn't do any of that.
Right.
I'm going to tell you how I actually got here. If you, Shannon, I'm going to tell you where I found my voice at. And this may lead into us having a whole nother segment
Yes,
another
sir.
day. But I found my voice in the trunk of a car. I was had been beaten unrecognizable with a tire. And you know that's what you change the tire with on a car.
Crowbar.
Um, when my mom them got to me, they couldn't even recognize me. I was put in the trunk of a car, and I was talking to my kids through the back seat because they were in the back seat while I was in the trunk. And I prayed and said, Lord, if you allow me to get out of this trunk alive, I will always use my voice and any influence that I have to help others. And that's what I've done for a long time now. It's, my youngest is 29, and she was probably 2 when this happened. So definitely not a great way to find your voice, but I found it. And I've used it all these years, and I will continue to use it.
So God allowed you to get out of that trunk. And I'll say this before I roll into something else. Every time I see, well, I'll say 90% of the time that I've seen you, you have somebody beside you that you are guiding along or showing how to do something. I can just about tell you 90% of the time I've seen you, I've seen you doing that, instructing, almost like bringing up new leadership, and teaching them what you want them to know.
You have to be okay to be training your replacement, because especially if you like, people always say, what do you want to do with the company? I take it one step at a time. I have a goal. I do have, goals and aspirations in life. However, when I'm mapping out, career mapping, if you will, I'm always career mapping where it allows me to still continue to touch people. I don't want to be the behind the scenes, if you will. I need to be out with the people because that is definitely my purpose. My purpose, I've embraced my purpose. I know that's what the Lord wants me to do. And so I'm okay with that. If that's my way of ministering, if you will, that's what I do. I like to coach, teach, and train and develop people.
And so is what you would say is your biggest strength, influence or training or however you want to put it. That's your biggest strength?
My biggest strength is people. I'm a people. I get the people moving. Through I inspire them to do things because I am authentic with myself first. And then I'm open, if you will. You have a lot of people that are in leadership roles that are not comfortable being open. When they ask me, how do I get people to move the way that they do? And I say, because I'm open. Everybody has a little mystery with them, and I do. When I'm away from work and an associate bump into me and I have on just my regular, Jordans, or they was like, wow, do you have Jordans? And I was like, but yeah, I have to, I turn off when I'm at home. I'm a regular person. But it's amazing how the way I move influenced them. I just had a young man come to my office door last week, and he said, Miss Rentz, do you mind sharing with me how you got here? How did you get to where you are in your career? Now that warms my heart more than anything because they came to me. And so I have people. I would tell you, people is definitely one of my biggest strengths is taking care of people.
So it brings you joy when you see somebody that you saw start from an infancy in the career business or being in their career, and you see them elevate to management of some sort. That's got to feel great. Got to feel great.
I can tell you right now, since I've been in a leadership role with Home Depot, I've been able to coach, teach, and develop a leader once a year. I move a leader from one role to another role, and I have my entire career as a salary leader. So that's 9 years as a salary leader with Home Depot. I have produced other leaders for Home Depot, and I do it on a 1.3 ratio basis yearly. And it, even though it is they expect that from us. Everybody can't say, I'm developing talent for the company. And I enjoy doing it. It's not something that's forced upon me. I do it because I love it.
Is that your goal to develop at least 1.3 or whatever?
So I can tell you, Shannon, if I can do more, it's definitely a goal to do more. So this year, this past 2021, I can tell you, and we're talking about I moved here and then it went straight into a pandemic. I was able to, just in the year of 2020, produce two. 2021, I became the leader and development captain immediately when I got here because that's just my passion. This year, I'm trending now this year to produce at least two more. While I'm currently still in this role, but last year was an amazing year for me. I was able to change respectfully about 5 lives just last year.
That's awesome.
And so keep in mind they have to put the work in.
Yeah, I
But
understand.
if I get there and we sit down and we have talent planning, I ask the leaders, the people in the room, hey, what do you want to do? And they tell me what they want to do. It's my job to get them there. Now they again have to put the work in, but I'm going to do my part to get them there. I have one left that's asked me from last year, and I lose sleep over it? Yes, because it's I've never not got them there. So it's something that I'm passionate about. It will bother me if I don't, even though they have to do the majority of the work. I do lose sleep over it if someone wants to get somewhere and they're not quite there yet. But I'm very transparent too. I don't hide what their opportunities is, if you will.
Right.
I'm very upfront about it, and they appreciate the transparency.
So you tell them, this is reachable, or you may need to do a little more work before you reach this point, something like that.
Yes, and it's funny that you say that when I try not to ever. We have this little running joke. They say, "Oh my goodness, do not make Miss Sirrenthia come out of herself," because I got that from the James Brown movie. Get up. So I was like, "Don't make me come out of myself." So one of my leaders tell me that's how he knows I care for him as a person and want him to be successful. I went a whole week without disturbing a leader because you shouldn't when they're on vacation. I told the team, hey, don't call, don't text, none of that. I need this leader to learn to disengage from work. And he told me that probably was the worst feeling ever because he didn't know what to do because he was not being pulled and doing things that no one was bothering him. And he told me that's how he know that I'm definitely supporting him is when I'm verbal more. So now I'm having to teach him how me being nonverbal doesn't mean I'm still not supporting you. What I'm supporting you on at this point is for you to take vacation and be happy.
Learn how to let go, learn to delegate and let go. Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. Now, I want to move to something that's a little different, but it's on the same thing. You said you were married. All right. So, with you having all this influence and training people in power, how do you know? Well, how is it going back home being a partner with somebody when you've had to do all the directing and everything, and now you got to come back and be a partner? How does that work with a lady that has that much influence?
Well, Shannon, when I get home, I'm a wife.
Okay.
The store manager hat comes off. I'm a wife. What I have come to appreciate about my marriage and my partner is that though both of us are in retail, and it's great to have a partner that understands what you do. I'm wholeheartedly thankful for that. But when I get home, it's a partnership. I'm not the director in charge of the Home Depot store, 103,000 square foot building. I am a mom, a wife, a grandmother. When I get home, I'm just like Everybody, I kick your shoes off, get my shower, put my husband's old big T-shirt on, and I'm a wife.
That's right.
I'm looking for, hey, what's for dinner? My husband, I'm not ashamed to say, he does most of the cooking because I absolutely love his cooking. He's from New Orleans, and so I get to have the best of both worlds without visiting the state sometimes.
Right.
But I look forward to my dates. Um, I can tell you, I look forward to my off days with my husband. I make my schedule around his schedule, which is I'm blessed to do. And we spend time with each other. So at home, I'm just Sirrenthia the wife. I'm not the Sirrenthia in charge of
Oh yeah.
of a $51 million box.
I got you. So you don't walk in trying to tell him go over there and straighten them boxes up like I told you. None of that stuff like you do.
No, as couples, you're married, so I'm pretty sure you can attest to this. We sometimes, how we ladies are, we like things a certain way, so we may give a little directions. But listen, what I love about my marriage is my husband lets me be me,
Okay.
and because he lets me be me, there's a we and not a me. We're a team.
Gotcha.
And this is my second marriage, and I can just tell you, I got married young the first time. I can tell you, he's my best friend.
Amen.
We collaborate, we talk, we plan. I don't feel like because I'm doing one thing that I should be in charge of everything. No, to be honest with you, I don't want to be in charge of anything when I get home.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you what, that's a whole nother conversation. I just had a podcast with another show last night, and we talked about that, and you being in that role of leadership, it would have been great to have your input on that. But that's what we were talking about. When people have that kind of influence, especially if it's a lady, does she know how to be that partner she needs to be? Not coming under somebody walking all over you, nothing like that, but just coming under being, coming into being with a partner. That can sometimes be tough because some people are doing very well. As I think somebody said, well, he could be making 50,000. I could be making 100,000. I just want a partner, and I thought that was good. So that sounds real close to what you're saying right now. Sounds real close.
Absolutely, you need to have some. When you get home from retail is not for the faint of heart. You're dealing with 3,000. In my case, I have 3,000 plus customers I'm dealing with. I have 140 plus to 50 plus associates, and that require a lot of my time. So when I get home, I definitely, turn off his reel, and we have a rule. We talk about work for the first 30 minutes of coming home. After that, Shannon, it's done.
Gotcha.
I don't want to bog my husband down with my day. He's still in retail in a retail environment as well. We talk about his day, and 30 minutes, that's it.
That's good. That's good. And you say you have a rule. We only talk about it for this 30 minutes, and now we're going to talk about just regular life stuff.
Yeah, we gotta leave it at work. I tell people the same way when I put my orange apron on, I orange up, and I'm at work, you have all of me. When I get home, I have to give all of me to home.
Got you. Now, I'm not going to open that can of worms fully that you opened earlier, but I know we got listeners that's going to be like, wait a minute, how did she do that? You said you were in a trunk. Now, we ain't going to go into the full thing, but what I want to you just gave us a cliffhanger and whatever, but that's fine. But this is what I was going to say. Soon after you got out of that situation, did you become the Sirrenthia that we see now? As far as
I can tell you that situation grew me. And again, Shannon, I share that story with more people than you realize, because a lot of people I've come across need that story, because I wanted to let them know, whether it be male or female, I don't just share it with the ladies, I share it with the guys too. Is that your circumstances, yeah, they grow you into the person that you are, and they support you. That's your past. Your past, impacts your future and your present, but you don't have to allow it to tear you down, if you will. I utilized that moment in my life to realize that there was something out there bigger for me, and that was something that I needed to do, because it was a reason why the Lord got me out of that trunk, because He had plans for me that were bigger plans than I could imagine that I had. So don't want it to ever be a cliffhanger for you, so I'll share that with you when we get the chance to talk about it. It is not something I'm definitely not ashamed of. It is something that happens in a lot of people's lives. I'm just blessed to be able to still share my story. My kids will tell you their mother is resilient, if nothing else, and I enjoy my strength as a woman. As far as my mental capacity is concerned, because a lot of people, when you say in a trunk of a car and not being recognizable by your own mom when she did get to you, and a lot of people are like, wow. But I can tell you, I had a praying grandmother, and I miss her dearly
Right.
because Shannon, when she made it to that hospital, I love my mother to death, but it was just something about my grandmother because when she put her hands on me and she said, "It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay," and from that moment, I knew I would be okay. It was something about grandmama.
Wow. And the thing is, having that person that can lay their hands on you and say, "Hey, it's gonna be okay," it makes a difference. I mean, and there seems to be that one person that can get through to you a lot of times in life. Some people don't have nobody, but
True.
if you're fortunate to have that, I think it gives you that little bit of a boost to let you know.
But I can tell you, Shannon, that Trump moment was a life changer for me. A very much so life changer. I was still able to. I had small kids my kids were very small. So I used that moment as a driving force in my life? Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. It has made me the woman I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and without taking away from any expense, I mean suspense that you want to have for another conversation, to be able to do that and still co-parent with their father,
Wow.
I can tell you, was a lot for me. But
Yeah, yeah. We definitely had to bring you back and talk about that one. That you can't leave us out there like that. But I mean, what we initially brought you here for, I think that all ties in still with the resilience you have to have in this life. A lot of times, a lot more than we even want to talk about sometimes. Yeah, that's it. I want to say this too, though, for anybody that's listening. I have personally seen uh, this woman at work, and it is something to behold to see people just respond. Because I have seen it, I personally seen it, and it's not like anybody does anything begrudgingly. Now, I'm sure you have your days, but it is something refreshing about it to see people willing to want to do. And to the man, everybody, because I know a lot of people there, they all say you're a great person, and I don't know if I see that all the time with management. People call their managers everything but good sometimes, you know. Yeah,
which
yeah.
Shannon, you got to be careful because people do go home and you're the topic of dinner. So I always wanted to make sure that if I am the topic at the dinner table, that is for a good reason. It's not because of anything negative. I pretty much know all of the people that report directly to me. I know all of their spouses. Um, when people ask me what is the hardest part about my job, I tell them because I have to get to know each individual separately.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to know your whole life story, but I do need to know what's important to you. And
Gotcha.
when I find out what's important to you, I utilize that to get through my everyday. Like I may walk by and say, "Hey, John, how is your mother's hip surgery?" So
Wow.
I pick up on little things throughout my day to that's important to my associates and my leadership team in order to be able to stay connected to them, if you will.
All right. So what I want to say right here is this: what would you tell somebody who is looking to move up in a company such as yours or any company, especially someone that is female, and sometimes even male? What would you tell them? A couple of things or one thing that they need to do.
One thing I would tell people to understand is, hey, it's okay. Be comfortable with what you don't know. Be comfortable. Success isn't comfortable. When you become comfortable, you're no longer growing in anything that you're doing. It's okay, again, if you don't know something, but be okay with going to somebody who do know.
Mm-hmm.
How I've managed to grow and get to the point to where I am in my career is I'm very big on networking and surrounding myself with people that know a lot more about other things than I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people I'm not the smartest person in the room. I'm just smart enough to surround myself with smart people.
Good point.
And you don't have to be the smartest person. You have to be comfortable with being okay when you don't know something. Because a lot of people aren't comfortable with that. They feel pressured or less than. I have no reason to feel less than. Uh, to have a testimony, you have to first have a test.
That's right.
Okay? So my talking to someone in front of me and telling them what they need to do is one, just be genuine to yourself first. Be true to yourself. Know what you want. Don't allow someone to tell you what you can't do. There's no such thing as you can't. Sky's the limit. I have come through a lot of things in my life, and I'm still standing. And I still have a lot left to give, and I'm going to keep giving it as long as I can. So be true to yourself. Understand that influence is way more valuable than power. The power never comes into play because you're going to influence and inspire people to be great. And when you look back over the lives that you've inspired and you've touched, job well done.
Awesome. I don't know if anything else can be said on that. That is awesome. That's just those statements alone that even helps me. I really appreciate you coming on, and from now on, as I walk, if you stay in the location you are, I'm sure you'll be moving on. But if you stay in there, I got to look at you even with higher esteem because I've heard some of the backstory now. But I appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we can have you back again to talk about another subject and inspire us in another way if you don't mind.
Absolutely. No matter where I go, Shannon, you'll be able to get in touch with me. You have all of my emails and my cell phone numbers, so I'll be more than happy to hop on and join again because I've actually enjoyed speaking with you today.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, God bless. We just had Miss Sirrenthia Williams on, and she came along and she showed us exactly what you need to do to be successful in any position, whether you be a man or a woman. But I can honestly tell you that I've learned a lot about what it takes to move forward. We heard some of her backstory too, and we'll have to get her back on to help us to hear a little bit more about that. But hopefully this inspired somebody today in learning that you have to work hard. It's not just given to you. And if you work hard, then things can go forward for you a little bit faster. So until the next show, hopefully this brought some positivity to your life. We ask that you continue to pray. We ask that you also like and subscribe if you like what you heard today. And with the You're So Witty broadcast, we continue to bring these type messages. We want you to be better. And we want you to also remember, you too are so witty. God bless.